Hello, my friends, and welcome back. Thank you very much for being with me again today. Russia launched the third massive missile and drone attack on Ukraine in the past 4 days. And we have two articles on that. See what kind of targets the Russians hit. Well, the Ukrainians used their domestically built long-range drones to hit targets about 800 kilometers away from the border. And then we have the Ukrainians claiming that they developed again those drones and missiles that can hit thousands of miles inside Russia, and they will. So I'm gonna have all the targets that the Ukrainians hit overnight, and it's about 4 of them inside Russia, far, far away, by Moscow, by the way, or at least in a region east of Moscow. Then we find out that, of course, those drones and missiles that they have, the Ukrainians, use a Western technology, which I said before, and I will keep saying, the guys in charge of Ukraine, and it's not Zelensky and these guys, will not allow Ukraine to independently build drones that could hit Washington, D.C., or ballistic missiles. And they are built by the guys in the West with that technology, and then they just stamp it and say, made in Ukraine. Well, we find out that 700 miles away from the border with Ukraine, the Ukrainians were able to strike some oil depots within Russia. 700 miles. That's about 1,200 kilometers inside. We find out that they have a range of 600 to 700 kilometers. The first ballistic missiles the Ukrainians are allowed to have. We're going to discuss that and find what Mr. Podolyak has to say about it, if you believe him. Belarus fighter jets destroy Russian drone. Well, what's about that one? We have two articles on that little incident. Well, the Ukrainian lawmaker, one Ukrainian lawmaker, was added on the international wanted list. So we have a allegedly criminal guy inside the, I would say, Rada, their parliament, who's wanted by the international community. I wonder why. Well, killing civilian is not okay. And we have the last article, a last topic here. We find out that Zelensky is okay with destroying as much as he can in Russia in order to stop the war. So there is more escalation will stop the war. Does that work only in one direction or works in both directions? So logically it works only in Zelensky's direction because he is the good guy, and the other guy, the European, who is Putin, is the bad dude. But Zelensky Stein is the good guy here. All right, let's start with the first article coming from Associated Press. Russia launches a heavy missile and drone bombardment of Ukraine for the third time in 4 days. This is from August 29, 2024. Russia conducted a heavy aerial attack on Ukraine for the third time in 4 days, Thursday, again launching missiles and scores of drones that mostly were intercepted. Ukraine's Air Force said. Well, this thing with intercepted, as I always say, pay attention to articles within 48 hours after the attack, and the Ukrainians themselves will say, well, 100,000 energy consumers are without electricity in this oblast. In that oblast, 50,000. In that, you're going to find out that actually that successful air defenses, or how to say, fantastic air defenses of the Ukrainian Western provided weapons work so fast, that so good and fast, that only the debris hit the right targets that leave the poor Ukrainians without electricity. That tells me that's not what they say. When they say, well, we destroyed 60 out of 72 drones, that's what? 12 drones hit the targets and you got hundreds of thousands of people with no electricity? Just wait 48 hours, pay attention. I will make another video today after this one where I'm going to show you how these guys really do it. I'm going to show you how after the first attack on the 27th, they say, well, we destroyed big scores of missiles and drones. Okay, and then I'm gonna show you what the destruction was from the debris, mind you. That's the way you catch these guys. Russian forces fired 5 missiles and 74 Shahed drones at Ukraine targets, an Air Force statement said. Air defenses stopped 2 missiles and 60 drones, and 14 other drones presumably fell before reaching their target. So that means what? So 60, and then with 14, that makes 74. Isn't it 74, the total number? So nothing. And then it was 2 out of 5 missiles. So three missiles reached some targets. And in 48 hours, I'm going to let you know how many thousands of Ukrainians are without electricity. Authorities in the capital, Kiev, said debris of destroyed drones fell in 3 districts of the city, causing minor damage to civilian infrastructure, but no injuries. When do you hit the target? It's like when you fight. You don't block, you try to block it right here, if you can. You try to intercept it, or not even intercept it, just fight on counters. That's the best way to fight. I mean, as I mentioned in one previous video, there are levels of knowing how to fight. And the first one is, Tom, you just close your eyes and you punch, the other guy punches, and whatever happens. That's haymakers and all that. That's the first one. The other one is you are just blocking, focus on blocking. There's a second one, all right? The third one is blocking and then punching, blocking and then punching. The other one is you just avoid it, back, you just move to the side, avoid, not back. I'm not saying moving backward, that's not avoiding, you don't do a shit with that one. You get the other one tired maybe. So you go right, left, or forward, diagonal, and so on. So these are, and then the last one is counter. When the guy punches, you don't block, you don't move, you just counter in the same time. So let's say he punches you straight to your face, a jab, boom, you jab, his jab goes here, your jab goes, or direct straight, goes into his face. He's going to punch you around here, you go down here, bang, so he's going to go right here. So that's the ultimate way of fighting. Obviously, the ultimate way is to win without physical fight. So here, when they tell me that they shot the drones right above the city, obviously, and the debris fell over the city. What do you mean? You just shot them right here? You didn't shot them, like 5 miles away, 2 miles away? I understand some units use the same where you have to visually have that. But where is that located? In downtown Kiev? Or is it at the periphery, at the outskirts, where you make sure that these debris don't fall? I would put it in the outskirts. But if you put it on the outskirts, you mean, you increase the size. You have to put more. If you make it bigger, bigger, so no drones come. So you need people, and you need So nevertheless, when I hear these guys debris falling, and you got the Patriot systems, they destroy everything. Again, 50 miles from the targets they're capable of intercepting and hitting, and you hit them above you. That means like blocking, trying to block here. Try to block here something that comes over you. It's gonna hit you. All right, next article. Ukrainska Pravda. Air defense down 60 kamikaze drones and 2 missiles in 29th of August Russian attack. And these guys say that they have 79 targets because they added the 5 missiles. Ukraine's air defense down 60 kamikaze drones and 2 guided air missiles out of 79 targets that Russia launched on night of 28 to 29 of August. The Russians attacked Ukraine with 3 Kh-59-69 air-to-surface missiles from the airspace of Kursk and Belgorod Oblast of the Russian Federation. Kursk and Belgorod are in this area right here. Kursk Oblast, Belgorod Oblast. And this is Ukraine, this is Kiev, just so you know where things are located. 2 more missiles of a current unidentified type from the same direction, and 74 Shahed 131/136 attack drones from the areas of Primorsko-Akhtarsk, Kursk and Yeisk on the night of 28-29. So Primorsko-Akhtarsk, Kursk, Yeisk. I'm going to show you what that is. So Primorsko-Akhtarsk is right here across from the Sea of Azov. It's right here. This is one. Then you got the Kursk. Yeisk is somewhere here too, right here, Yeisk. So north of Primorsko-Akhtarsk. Okay, so it's across from the Sea of Azov, and the other one obviously is from Kursk, which is right here. So good results, I guess, right? To repel the attack, aircraft, anti-aircraft missile forces, electronic warfare units, and mobile, I was talking about mobile fire groups of the Air Force and other units of Ukraine's defense forces were involved. 2 Kh-59/69 air-to-surface missiles and 60 Shahed attack drones were shot down. Another 14 attack drones were lost, crashed in various locations on Ukrainian territory. You got that? Air defense were deployed in Kharkiv, Cherkasy, Kirovohrad, Kiev, Poltava, Dnipropetrovsk, Kherson, Sumy, Donetsk Oblast. So this seemed to be in the area of the east of Ukraine. You don't go more than Kiev area, Cherkasy, and then you got Odessa was not, Mykolaiv right here with Kherson, Dnipropetrovsk, Poltava, Kharkiv, Kharkov, Sumy, Chernihiv. So Cherkasy, this is the area where the Russians attack. So that is in the east part of Ukraine. All right, let's move to the next article coming from Reuters. Again, the same thing from Reuters, and we find out that they had actually they destroyed all drones, and all the drones did not hit the targets. Let's put it this way, according to the Ukrainians, and 2 out of 5 were destroyed missiles. All right, let's see what the Ukrainians did. They returned a favor, and according to UPI, on August 29, 2024. Ukraine launches drone strikes targeting Russia's strategic oil infrastructure. This is an order, I would say, mainly from the Western interests who like very much capitalism, and they like competition, and they simply eliminate competition not by providing a better product at a cheaper price, or better product a little bit more expensive than the competition, but banning competition, eliminating it by destroying it or with sanctions. That is, you can't participate on this market here because we imposed, through the baboons of the market, imposed sanctions on them and on you. And I'm okay because I'm going to save you with my liquefied natural gas or oil or whatever I need to bring. But hey, now Russia cannot blackmail you. But you know who can? I can. All right, my friends. So this is what's going on here. Ukraine launches drone strikes targeting Russia's strategic oil infrastructure under the cloak of, we destroy Putin's war machine. All right. Ukraine said Thursday that it had launched domestically manufactured, you have to know, domestically manufactured drones with American technology, and I think built by them, to expand strikes against strategic Russian oil facilities overnight and target field artillery infrastructure just across the border inside Russia. And we're going to find out what they did. The General Staff of Ukrainian Armed Forces said that following an attack on an oil depot in Rostov province Wednesday morning, I covered that, and that was right here. This is Rostov Oblast is right here. They did it on exactly this town right here, Novoshakhtinsk. I covered that on a video yesterday. That is an oil refinery, oil depot right here. That's the first one that these guys are talking about. And they say Ukrainian forces had hit an oil storage facility in Kirov region, northeast of Moscow. Right, so let's see where that is. Kirov, northeast of Moscow. Now, I don't have it on this map, but don't worry, I got prepared. I have another map. So this is Moscow here, and Kirov is a little bit this way. Let me show you on a different map. Right there, this is Kirov. Kirov is by Moscow. Where are you, baby doll? Right here. See how far from Moscow is Kirov? And then you have right here is the border. So you have more than two times distance from here. And I'd say Moscow is about 700, 500, 600 kilometers from here, let's say. So then you got here. They hit inside. It's a big achievement. So it's 2 times Ukraine, 3 times Ukraine. I mean, in length almost 2 times. So that's the first Kirov. Next one. and more than 900 miles, that is 1,500 kilometers inside Russia, and an artillery ammunition dump in the Roseth district of Voronezh region. So that is, not that, is right here, Voronezh region, is this Roseth, or whatever their name was. Roseth district is in the south part of, I'm going to show you right here, of Voronezh. This is Voronezh Oblast, and here is this region, location of Rososhansky district of Voronezh Oblast. And that is on the big map right here, southwest of Voronezh, which gets me to, this is the border with Ukraine right here, and this area. Not this, but this area. We're going to go to the article and see what else this guy did. About 30 miles from the border with Ukraine. So that's about it. Confirming the attacks in the social media post, the general staff said the strikes on the Atlas oil depot in Rostov caused explosions and set storage tanks ablaze. But the full extent of the damage inflicted there and in Kirov and Voronezh was currently being clarified. So they're trying to get, because that's how capitalism works. You don't try to make a better product. You try to legally, according to your laws, eliminate competition, either by, as I said, laws, or in this case, sanctions, or simply attacking them through your proxy followers, vassal states. So let's see what's next. Next, the war zone. Ukraine bracketing key Kursk highway with drones to slow Russian logistics. So these guys are happy to inform you that they destroy highways. Now, obviously, these highways are strategic, military strategic routes. There's no doubt about it. Remember when NATO bombardments of Yugoslavia in 1999, illegal bombardment over the defensive alliance against a country that never invaded or attacked or caused any problems, let's say, not problems, I mean, it depends on you. I can, if you walk down the street, I can call it a problem if I want, and I'm going to beat you up because I was threatened by your walking down the street. So you see, it's not working like that. But if you're strong, you can say whatever baboonish reason for smacking someone, and everybody is like, okay, we'll take note on that one, and we put it on this book. And when we're going to have another option to join another club, we're going to join that club, so you don't kick us in the teeth with your garbage. That's what's going on right now with BRICS, Shanghai Cooperation Organization, and Belt and Road, the Chinese, the Russians, and the club is already there. So these guys are destroying a highway because NATO did it, and they all do it. Like the Russians don't do it. They all do it. But these guys tell us, oh, it's a military. Okay, it is a military. It's used by the military as well. How about the civilians? Military first. So to slow the logistic, Ukrainian forces targeted a portion of the key E38 highway in Kursk with first-person view. Drones are raising new alarms among some local Russian leaders and mile bloggers. Ukraine is hitting that area to halt Russian logistics. Oh, see, it's military, all that. The Rilsk bridge in particular has been a hotspot. An image appeared on social media of the burning vehicle on the span, claimed to have been hit in the drone attack. Very good. You are hitting only military targets, and the Russians only civilian targets. Next one, Bay Sea. Ukraine's long-range drones using Western tech to hit Russia. Well, no surprise here, but it's good to have it, because to have this piece of information coming from them, not from anybody else. Why? They first, you use small steps. Sometimes you just big step and go and grab it. This is a tactic of a bully. If a bully is a big bully, just comes, smacks you, and takes your lunch. But if you're a small bully, or you don't want to think that everybody else sees that you're a bully, you try with small steps. Give wrong interpretations of your actions, or use euphemisms. And then after a while, you bring the reality because you don't care. You grabbed it, you did it. What are you going to do about it? You just come out and say it. Why? Because you already prepared the meat on the little, and then you put it on the grill. You prepared the audience for what you're about to say. By what? By increasing the pressure. For instance, if you, let's say, the American, some baboons that right now are still eating their fleas somewhere, if these guys, let's say today is the 24th of February 2022, when the Russians attacked Ukraine, right? Unprovoked, gotta mention that one. And the next day on the 25th, you would say, bring everything right now. Okay, we're gonna send airplanes, tanks, logistics, how do you call it, vehicles, howitzers, Patriot, HIMARS, all that on the 25th. I guarantee you that even the baboons who are busy eating each other's fleas, they will be like, oh my God, it's a war. But now it's not a war. You see, because they went step by step. So now if you look back sometimes in a relationship, let's say an intimate relationship, sometimes you could go back and say, how in the hell I got to this one? How did I get to this so far in this garbage, let's say? Let's say it's a negative one, okay? So how in the hell? Well, the same, little by little, you gave away certain things, thinking, it's going to be okay, it's going to be... And then you look back and say, how in the hell I'm at the edge of a cliff? Well, you got over there, little by little, small steps allowing the situation to go that way. Because if someone will put you right there from the very beginning, let's say you meet someone today and tomorrow you're at the edge of the cliff by all the demands and all the dynamics, you will say, no, shit, go. But you're over there because little by little, little by little. Some people like that analogy with a frog in the boiling water. You know, little by little, and the frog, it's warm, ooh, beautiful. And then when it gets too hot, he can jump out because his muscles are, and he's dying over there, boiled. All right, so let's see what this perfect BBC, state-owned partly, but hey, have nothing to do with the government. Says, Western technology and finance are helping Ukraine carry out hundreds of long-range strikes inside Russia. Tell a baboon this, let's say you told a baboon on the 25th of February 2022 and see if they would have agreed with this. No. Even the baboons will say, we'll figure it out. Even they will say, oh, wait a minute, my 3-minute attention span tells me that it's within that 3 minutes, so I should see it for what it is. That is despite NATO allies still refusing to give Ukraine permission to use Western supplies munitions to do so, mostly because fears of escalation. Do you hear that? So they gave all this plus, and they're afraid to push another button because it's an escalation. You're at the edge of the cliff, and they say if you put one more step in, you are going to escalate. How in the hell I got to this one? Through daily escalation. NATO is involved in this, however you want to take it, because if you put yourself in the shoes of an aggressor, Russia, so I'm eliminating who's good and who's bad. I can tell you, okay, a bad guy. Let's say you're a bad guy, which I know you are not. But let's say I'm a bad guy, okay? And I'm a bad guy and start beating the neighbor. And I see other neighbors that have nothing to do with them or with me, let's say, and arming and helping these guys 100% with weapons, logistics, and so on, and with sanctions on me. I should not consider those guys participating in my scuffle with this one. You are participating 100%. So what will you do? You go and beat up each and every one or hurt them. In order to stop doing that, in order to supply your neighbor that is beating you up. Or you just say, you know what? You guys won because you're the good and I'm the bad. Give me that. All right? Right? So by any logical real life experience and example, this is 100% active implication in a war. Involvement. Only is, no, we're not involved and we don't want to escalate. What are you talking about? The first bullet you sent to Ukraine to shoot my family and my Ruskis, you are right there. Send them one. Boom. Next one is going to be on all of you. What are you going to? Yeah, I'm crazy. Ooh. I guarantee you the reasonable, intellectual, civilized West will say, hold on. Let me pull my pants up. Hold on. I don't think so. Let's stop. Let's be reasonable. Really? You're at my porch right here with your weapons. And I should be reasonable? Only like that. It is the perverted way of being nice. Under the cloak, oh no, we fight for good. We just You just come closer, and then you think you're gonna what? Knock me out? Exactly. Have you seen those little weasels sometimes, like little dogs? Not little. I don't know you guys in the Western countries, civilized countries, but in Romania, you have a little dog that comes around and is like, yeah, that is gonna bite you. So you do something to the dog. Get the. I'm going to talk about stray dogs. Just because he's gonna come around you, and from behind he's gonna hop, get your ankle. And what are you gonna do? That you're gonna be beaten, and the guy is gonna be. No, you know that guy is gonna come. So same with NATO, like the little dog. It's not illegal for the dog to come near you, but he's a perverse dog. He's gonna bite you. Same here. And the Russians are like, you are here. No, we can be here. We can be here. Yeah, and then we're just gonna bite you with what? 3 minutes from Moscow with a missile launch? Are you crazy? What's the reaction time? 3 minutes? From what? From 7 minutes? That matters, my friends. That matters. All right, next one. The war zone. Russian region 700 miles from the border struck for the first time by Ukrainian drones. Right there. They, see, that's the evidence. So this is Kirov Oblast, the one that I showed you, the first one right here. 700 miles from here. Remember, this is 1,700 or 1,800 kilometers from here. That means St. Petersburg is going to be right there within range. Where are we? Right here. For the first time Wednesday, with a drone strike on an oil depot, they were more than 700 miles from the border. It was one of the least two attacks on Russia's fuel infrastructure overnight that included a drone strike on Rostov Oblast and conflicting claims about an attack on one in Ryazan Oblast. The attacks are part of Ukraine's effort to severely degrade Russian oil industry. For what? Which supports the war, and it is a critical part of its economy. Got that? That's a justification for you from the baboons. The Zenith oil facility in Kirov Oblast was struck. All right, next one. New Voice of Ukraine. Podolyak hints at 600 to 700 kilometer range for Ukraine's first ballistic missile. The Russian says this is just a Soviet-era missile that these guys are trying to put it back in use. I don't think it is. Could be, but I think it's just Western technology used by the Westerners, supposedly with these guys' hand, so they can say, we're actively attacking. That's what it is. And he says here that we will know for sure, I'm quoting, when we will see the effective use of the missile. So they're ready to use it. Now, if they use this 600 to 700 kilometer range, that would be Moscow. Straight from here to there, no problems. And I'm assuming there's going to be even longer than that. So they're ready to hit it. But hey, it's not the Americans. It is Russian, okay? It's Ukrainians' first ballistic missile. Ukraine. Because the Americans would love a country that it's not owned by us. It's independent. Have a missile that can strike, let's say, this far away. I mean, if you bring that missile, let's say, to the western border of Ukraine, can you hit Berlin? I wonder. A straight line, 700 kilometers, I think you could. You just go over Poland and you're right there, a little bit of eastern Germany, and you're right there. So that's, I think, that's a good hit, isn't it? A straight hit. Next one. Belarusian fighter jet engages Russian drone. Let's see what's going on here. New Voice of Ukraine. Belarusian fighter jet engages a Russian drone entering its airspace. Exactly what the Polish people should have done, but they didn't. It seems like that's an order. Do you think the Poles with the Western weapons could not hit the Russian drone? They claimed that on 2 occasions, 2 Russian drones entered their airspace, and they just fell somewhere because they were like, ooh, got tired, and they just fell on or landed, crashed on Polish territory. I think they let it go in if it was a Russian drone, which that's debatable because the Poles say that. Okay, well, what's your goal? You want a no-fly zone of Ukraine, instituted through you by United States of America. So that means the Russians will hit you thinking that it's going to be only Poland, not us. But Lavrov said yesterday, if United States thinks that the Third World War will be just confined to Europe, they're mistaken. Why? Anyway, but these guys are just either under too much or just lost in space, or they are so deep in this, they cannot leave this with a, I don't know how to save face. They can't get out. Therefore, they have to keep going, and it's going to be, the Russians will use something. If the West, the NATO, the Americans, the NATO organization has more successes, I guarantee you the Russians will come and say it. I said this for some time. We'll say it straight. You know what? We're going to do this on that date. This is an ultimatum for you. And then obviously everybody's going to say, see. But if you push me to a corner, yeah, I'm the aggressor. But why? Do you think I want to die? With my gun holstered? And you don't have a gun? You came with a knife, let's say Ukraine, and I have a gun, and you're still far away from me, and I'm supposed to just die? How about I unholster the click and get ready? No. Because the Russians are not reasonable. The Russians are just baboons, we're told. Evil baboons. Because baboons could be nice, baboons could be evil. So let's see what these guys are saying. That's the evidence right here. See, they hit it right here at 3:30. Right there. Airplane. They have everything, man. This is the evidence. This is like Colin Powell's evidence in front of the United Nations with Saddam Hussein's weapons of mass destruction and those chemical laboratories. You know, exactly like that. That's the evidence. Good for you? Yeah, baboons will take it. Ukrainska Pravda. Belarus uses aircraft to down Russian attack drone that flew into Belarus for first time. Boom. That means they're very good. Or maybe they just talked about it. Hey, we're going to send over there. You're going to down it. Therefore, everybody knows you have a good air defense system. Yeah. Next one. New voice. Ukrainian lawmaker Artem Dmitriuk added to international wanted list. So this person was added to international wanted list because he killed civilians, allegedly. The State Bureau of Investigation, SBI, has issued an international warrant for the arrest of current Ukrainian lawmaker Artem Dmitriuk, who is suspected of attacking citizens, according to an SBI press release. Ukrainian authorities are investigating a member of parliament for allegedly attacking a law enforcement officer in Odessa, causing injuries and attempting to steal the officer's weapon. Really? That kind of civilian? The official is also accused of assaulting a citizen in Kiev, causing moderate injuries during an argument. According to the State Bureau of Investigation, the lawmaker is suspected of intentionally bodily harm to a law enforcement officer. Why intentionally bodily harm? Attempted theft of a firearm, causing moderate injuries, and grossly violating public order with blatant disrespect for society, all in violation of Ukrainian criminal code. Is this something he's not in Rada anymore? So why is this an international one? So he fled? Is that what it is? Or he just injuring, arrest, and he's a current who is suspected of attacking citizens. So he's not killing citizens. Okay, well, the media loves this one. You know what? It fits their narrative, and it fits their description of a certain kind of people. Do you have blue eyes too? It seems to me. Yeah, okay. Then they will make it qualify. The face of evil, blonde hair, blue-eyed, white, and strong-looking guy. No wonder. All right, next one. We got this guy who is, this is the face of the good, and this is the face of the evil. You understand what I'm trying to do here? You understand what I'm trying to do here? Yeah, this is the good guy right here. They defend actually Ukraine, and this is the guy who just makes the name of Ukrainians, trashes it. Well, if he's a criminal or a suspected, should be punished. But remember that, I think it was Stalin who said it. You kill one person and you're called the criminal. You kill a million people and it's a matter of statistics. So you attack civilians, yeah, you're a criminal right there, and you engage another nation than yours into something, and you are a hero. Zelensky, lifting restrictions on long-range strikes on Russia will help end the war. So he makes a point, a good point. That is, if I'm going to start, I mean, I've been attacked. Let's start with that one. And he's beating me, and then I start beating him back, and he's going to, falter and say, "Oh my God, stop! Let's have peace." Yeah, but isn't that logic working is valid for the other side? Shouldn't the Russians think the same way? Same way. Remember, Ukraine, Russia, nuclear weapons, no nuclear weapons. So, what's the logical, direction this should take? The Russians, if that's the way it works, then the Russians could drop a few things over there on some Western facilities and in Ukraine, and then everything is gone. The other guys will negotiate. No? No, it doesn't work that way, right? But let me tell you why this savior of Ukrainian nation is saying that with logic, but apply that to the Russians as well. The lifting of restrictions on the use of long-range weapons provided by international masters, to strike military targets inside Russia will help Ukraine end the war as soon as possible. And I'm quoting, "We continue to insist," are you coming back? "We continue to insist that their determination now, lifting the restrictions on long-range strikes for Ukraine now, will help us to end the war as soon as possible in a fair way for Ukraine," correct, "and the world as a whole, because you are paranoid and you are narcissistic enough to think that you are helping the world, and everybody has to believe you. The defense of life has the same meaning everywhere. Russia too. I thank everyone in the world who is helping us. Not too many, because they know who's behind you." Zelensky emphasized that all international partners, do you mean master, and this always plays like this meta, it's a garbage site. But anyway, the terror must never become some kind of new alleged normalcy for Europe. Who's hitting the oil and the roads and the bridges? The Russians do it too, but remember, the president stressed. So they want to do it because if they do it, they will be able to bring the Ukrainians to the Russians to the negotiation table. You remember who else said, "Well, we have to drop." We had to drop. The reason we didn't have. The reason we dropped. The government dropped 2 atomic bombs on 2 civilian cities in Hiroshima and Nagasaki was to stop the war and get the Chinese. Oh my God, the Japanese to unconditionally surrender. Wasn't that the reason? Yeah, and save our boys' lives. The exact thing. So let's say Zelensky Stein will have nuclear weapons. Do you think he, under the same justification, would he use it to destroy the Russians? I think that. And the Russians have them, and they didn't use it yet. Will they use it? I think if the shit hits the fan, I think they will give a warning, or maybe without a warning. If you don't give a warning, that means you're loose cannon more than if you give a warning. In this society, in U.S. society, we, or the Americans, were baboons, not baboons, babooned, I will make a word, turned into baboons by trying to understand certain things that should not be agreed or understood from the very beginning. But with the mental gymnastics, by discussing certain things in such a way and destroying your arguments by attacking them morally, morality also imposed by the guys who push garbage on us, they try to disarm you. So it shouldn't have even been this issue whatsoever. Hey, I don't know what a man is, I don't know what a woman is. How did we get to this point where you're debating that, and if you debate it, you're called this and you're called that, to shame you, to shut the fuck up? How did you get that? They try to explain that some people they did it the same with Zelensky. The Zelensky right now is trying to baboon us out. You know what, maybe we can make those if we destroy more of them. No, don't even talk about it. The same with the Russians. If they start talking, you know what, we're going to give you an ultimatum, and if you don't retreat by then, no. The same here. Zelensky, I think, would have used. I can't be certain, obviously, but statements and actions prove a point sometimes. Not the whole point, but show you a direction, and the possibility increases. Put that in the Russians. Let's say the Russians are evil. Should they think the same way about the war? We can end this yesterday. Should we? No, they didn't. Anyway, my friends, this is garbage. The war should never have started if the West really did, the West, United States interest, the guys in charge of the United States of America, actually not the U.S. interest necessarily, because they use the U.S. political power, economic power, military power to impose something so they can take over. Remember, before the Second World War, we had that crazy guy who said that we need living space. Why? Because we need cheap labor, or out because you have resources that we need, and we are so advanced technologically, economically, that you just sit on our resources. Get the fuck out, and we're gonna get that, and we're gonna just shoot up as a society, as a people. That was the Lebensraum. That's what it was. Living space, our living space. We need more. Why? Because you're not using it. It's like the Europeans, let's say, would have gone to, which they did, to the Middle East and tell those guys, you know what, you sit on oil. You don't even know what that is. Bye-bye. Shoo, we're going to take it. This is our oil. What are you going to do? Nothing. And we're not going to help you develop any military, anything. So now you come and buy my country. But see, you did that, and they did not have to do that. They could have kept, as evil as we are told, but we are stupid as well, but more evil. They could have kept those guys right there where they were, where they found them. And the same thing with China, the same thing with many others, and now turn around and say, you know what, you owe me. Oh, so that means our ancestors were baboons? Yeah, they were. Good job. Anyway, you have a Zelensky in charge of the Ukrainian nation. Isn't that baboonish enough? I know at least one person who would do like this in the grave right now, spin like this, knowing that Zelensky, Shmihal, Reznikov, Umerov, and Yermak are in charge of his nation. Well, that's it. Thank you very much for being with me again today. Stay strong, stay smart, look for the truth, and be just.